What a wild, bizarre, entertaining game on Thursday Night Football, which is really all you can ask for at the end of the day with these primetime slots. Harrison Graham here, a little for Verts NFL postgame show as the Seahawks get I think a well-earned win despite it requiring a 52-yard walk-off field goal from Jason Myers. Arizona rallies late but comes up short. A lot of different angles here as Seattle moves to 3-1. Arizona falls to 2-2. NFC West, pretty interesting division. We'll talk about the division as a whole at the end of this video. Before we break down this game, you love the NFL, you love college football, you love free content on a daily basis. We're the channel for you. Help us out. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. That way you never miss a video here on the channel. Every Thursday night game, every Sunday night game, every Monday night game, we are doing a post-game reaction as soon as the game ends. So go ahead and subscribe right now. All right, Seahawks 23, Cardinals 20. Sam Darnold just kind of plugging along, steady player. I think at this point we have to acknowledge that, whatever term you want to use, franchise QB, whatever it is, just good player. He's solid, man. I don't know. I don't think he's a top 10 guy, but he's somewhere between 12 and 16 in the NFL. 18 to 26, 242 and a touch. Kyler Murray, it's kind of on the roller coaster, right? The highs are high, the lows are low. Same with his second-year receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. That was a roller coaster tonight. I want to start with Seattle because I just think that for years now, they have just flown under the radar. It's just a rock-solid franchise. Clearly, with Geno Smith, you're always going to have a cap of how good you can be. He's a good player, but he turns the ball over. He takes a lot of chances, and, he's in his mid-30s. So I think a lot of people were surprised when Seattle pivoted off Geno and signed Sam Darnold to a 3-year, $100 million contract because they looked at that and said, wait a second, Geno Smith has been a good player for 3 years now. Trading him for a third-round pick and giving Darnold $100 million, even though really it's a 1+2 contract, that feels a little risky for a guy who's had one good year in his career. And yes, was there some level of risk from John Schneider? Absolutely. But again, they're really only tied to him fully for this year. They can get out of it after this year for relatively minimal penalty. And I think the Seahawks realize, hey, Geno, he's been a warrior for us. It's a nice story, but we're kind of just a 9 or 10 win team with them. And even if that's all Sam Darnold ends up being as well, I think he can at least be that. And hey, he's 7 years younger. There's room to grow potentially with Darnold still. Whereas with Geno, you'd probably flattened out. You kind of, he is what he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's probably not going to change at this point in his career. Like, you kind of know you can't win a Super Bowl with Darnold or with Geno. Even though you probably can't with Darnold, there's at least an arrow that's pointing up coming off his year in Minnesota. And I'd say so far, that swap has paid off. Again, Darnold may not take Seattle to the promised land, but if he's at least as good as what Geno has been, well, Geno got a pay raise up to $42.5 million with the Raiders, which, again, I didn't even blame the Raiders because he's so much better than what they've had for years now. I understood that move. They got Darnold at like 33 a year. He's 7 years younger. The arrow's pointing up, whereas with Geno, the arrow's pointing sideways, if not down, since he's in his mid-30s now. You get Clint Kubiak to come in, the guy who was on the 49ers staff when Sam Darnold was in San Francisco as Brock Purdy's backup a couple years ago. Darnold gets to play in Kevin O'Connell's system last year, kind of rebuilds his confidence, and all of a sudden, you just kind of got a really good player. Is he special? No. But he's more than serviceable. Like he's a rock solid player in my opinion, and I'm fascinated to see just how good he can get in Seattle. Him and Jaxon Smith-Njigba have built a nice connection despite 0 targets in the first half. 4 for 79 in the second half, including a beautiful back shoulder ball on the final drive to set them up for that game-winning 52-yard field goal that Myers was able to nail. So I'm pretty bullish on this Seahawks team. You think about this roster: Charles Cross, a really good young left tackle; Gray Zabel, the rookie guard out of North Dakota State. He looks like a stud. You've got Abraham Lucas on a pretty team-friendly extension. They just signed him to at $15 million a year. He's just solid at right tackle. Walker and Charbonnet, pretty good duo at running back. There's some injury concerns there, but they can run the rock, and they've been patient with it so far this year, which is what you need to be with Sam Darnold. I know Kevin O'Connell asked him to do it a lot last year, but we saw, in that last game and then in the playoff game when you're not even a threat to run the ball. If you face a team with a good pass rush, Sam Darnold can lose control a little bit. So I like Seattle's approach. 35 runs tonight, over 150 yards. Just throw it 26 times. Really just balanced, efficient attack from Seattle in this ball game. The defense is excellent under Mike McDonald. They have players at all three levels. So they're 3-1 right now. Easily could be 4-0. I'd be feeling pretty good right now if I was a Seahawks fan, a quarter into the season right now. Let's talk about Arizona. So, the Kyler Murray experience is a wild one, right? Because his best football, he's probably a top 10 guy. I thought in the fourth quarter he played excellent. Those final two drives, throwing beautiful back shoulder throws to Marvin Harrison, who finally woke up. We'll talk about him in a minute. Had a long 29-yard scramble at one point. He was in control. They're running that 2-minute drill, no panic whatsoever. Drive him down a second time to tie this game up at 20 with less than a minute to go. It's just the other times of the game. He takes unnecessary sacks. The accuracy can wane at times. It's too much this. It's like it's year 7. We talked about this coming into this year. Like, this is a pivotal year for Kyler in Arizona. If they miss the playoffs, I don't think Gannon's getting the boot. I think Kyler probably is. I think he'd be a guy that you would consider trading because is his game going to age well? You look at a guy like Russell Wilson now. What's the problem with Russell Wilson at this stage in his career? Well, he can't see over the line of scrimmage, so he can rarely target the intermediate middle part of the field, that kind of 10 to 25-yard range over the middle. He can throw the deep post over the middle. He can throw, lollipop jump balls downfield, left, right, or center, but you can't attack the middle of the field where that's kind of where defenses are most vulnerable. Well, Kyler Murray is about the same size as Russ. Now, he still runs exceptionally well, so he's got that. But once that starts to go, is this just going to be a Russell Wilson situation where you're very limited in how you can call offense for him moving forward? That's why I thought this was such an important year for Arizona to take a step and make the playoffs, because if not, you might have to trade Kyler before his value plummets. I thought he played well in the fourth quarter, but he threw 2 picks in the first half. One was for sure not his fault, and you could argue the first one wasn't either, because him and Marvin Harrison Jr. for the most part this year, and really in their careers, it's just been, at times it looks good, other times it doesn't. Marvin, it seems to bail on routes sometimes. Like the first pick, Kyler steps up, looks like he might scramble, but then he throws it last minute. Well, Marvin has stopped running his route, goes right to the safety for a pick. And it's like, look, I get you thought he was going to scramble, but like, unless you're blocking somebody and putting them in the dirt, keep running your route. Like that was ridiculous from Marvin Harrison Jr. And then the second one, he hits him right in the hands on a slant, bobbles it, and it's picked off. And, social media, the announcers are like, oh my God, Marvin Harrison is a mental head case. Like he cannot get out of his own way. But then here he comes in the fourth quarter. Nice back shoulder catch. Beautiful contested catch in the end zone for about a 20-yard touchdown. And, he kind of put his hand in the, he kind of got on his knees and kind of did one of these, like, thank God I finally made a big play. Like you could feel the pressure adding up, and then they go score again. And the debate was, do you kick? Do you go for 2? Do you try to win this game? I love the decision to kick it because you've got all the momentum. You're at home. The crowd's back into the game. Get this thing to overtime, and you've got, you're the stronger team. But then what happens? Chad Ryland kicks it off, and the ball is short of the landing zone. So the Seahawks get the ball at the 40-yard line. And now when you get the ball at the 40 with how good these kickers are, you hit one big play, you're in field goal range. And that's what happened. Jaxon Smith-Njigba for about 20. They hand the ball for a few more yards, settle for 52. Myers bangs it through after missing from 53 earlier in the quarter to win this game. So disappointing loss in the end for Arizona. In reality, I thought they got outplayed. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break, and we'll talk about the NFC West as a whole. But huge win for the Seahawks to improve to 3-1. All right, today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks, daily fantasy made easy at prizepicks.com/CLNS. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season with PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Didn't hit my lineup tonight. Had a couple misses on a 4-player lineup, but I'm back on the saddle this weekend. Made a lot of money last week, so I've got a little extra bread to go around. It's very easy to play PrizePicks. You just pick 2 or more players up to 6-player lineups and choose more or less on stat projections available: yards, receiving, passing, rushing, touchdowns, fantasy score, field goals, all kinds of stats available. You pick more or less. That's just for football. There's other sports available: baseball, hockey's back, fighting sports, racing, basketball will be back soon as well. Certain lineups you can win up to 2,000 times your money. The flex play is available as well, which PrizePicks invented, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. This week, PrizePicks is offering a max discount play for Jalen Hurts more than half a passing yard. I've turned that into a 3-player lineup with Rome Odunze more than 61.5 receiving yards and Ashton Genty, a goblin play, more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. Those are a little easier to hit, which lowers the payout. Of note, max discount plays, you can only use them once per account. They usually offer these once per week, so choose wisely when you want to use them. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, some final thoughts on this game, and then I want to talk about the NFC West as a whole for just a second, as I think it's maybe the most compelling division in the NFL so far this year. Look, this isn't college football. Style points don't matter, especially on the road. A win is a win. So I promise you that that's a happy celebratory flight home from Seattle. But let's face it, they kicked Arizona's ass for about 53 minutes tonight, and a couple of miscues kept the Cardinals in it. One, when they were up 17-6, Zach Charbonnet runs in a touchdown. JSN gets clipped for, I guess it's probably a hold, but it was kind of ticky-tack. And instead of 24-6, it was 20-6. And give Herbstreit credit on the call. He kept saying that whole drive to Michaels. He was like, they can just hold them to 3. Hold them to 3. It's been ugly tonight, but it's still a 2-score game. They're still in this. And he was right, because Arizona went down, scored quick with about 5-6 minutes left. Seattle goes 3 and out. And then Seattle did not go 3 and out. They actually drove down, and Myers missed from 53. Then Arizona drives down and ties it up with less than a minute left before the Chad Ryland miscue, and the rest is history. But in all seriousness, Seattle dominated this game. They had a ticky-tack hold, which cost them 4 points, and Jason Myers missed a field goal. Otherwise, this game's probably like 24-13. I mean, you look at the numbers: 6 yards per play for Seattle, 4 yards per play for Arizona. Turnovers: Seattle just 1, Arizona 2. Total yards: 384 for Seattle, 253 for Arizona. I mean, there's really no area. I mean, third down: 6 for 13 for Seattle, 6 for 15 for Arizona. Sacks: Seattle 6, Arizona 3. I mean, across the board, Seattle dominated this game. Yards rushing: 155, Arizona 89. I mean, this was not as close as the score would indicate, but sometimes that happens. You're on the road. It's Thursday night. Things get weird. Couple of miscues. Arizona takes advantage, and all of a sudden you look up, it's tied at 20 with 30 seconds left. But credit to Sam Darnold. Earlier in his career in that situation, blowing a 14-point lead, I'm not sure he delivers that throw to JSN to set them up to win this game late. He's just a calmer player now. He's been through a lot of different experiences. From seeing ghosts with the Jets to getting run out of Carolina, having to be a backup in San Francisco, and then getting an opportunity last year when J.J. McCarthy gets hurt, has this breakout season under Kevin O'Connell, who clearly boosted his confidence. Now he's back with Clint Kubiak in Seattle, a coach he worked with the 49ers, and the offense suits him. A lot of play action. They lean on the running game. It's good to see because Darnold's a talented guy, and I don't know if you can win a Super Bowl with him, but Seattle got a lot of shit when they pivoted off Geno Smith, and that was a bit bold, right? Because they knew what they had in Geno. Solid player. Not going to win a Super Bowl with him, but, they got a lot of production out of Geno, but they got about 7 years younger with Darnold, with, at minimum, same caliber player. It was risky because Darnold's only done it for 1 year. Geno's done it the last 3, but that gamble has paid off. I would rather have Darnold today than Geno. He's about $8 million cheaper per year. He's younger. The arrow is still pointing up. How much better could Darnold get? That remains to be seen. He's only 28, which Herb Street pointed out. It's like, God, it feels like he should be 32, 33 with how long he's been around, but only 28. Geno's best days are behind him. Like, he's not still progressing. He is what he is, which is a solid starter, but a guy who's going to turn the ball over a decent amount and going to be good for you, but not great for you at the end of the day. I don't know if Darnold's good enough to take a team to a Super Bowl, but his contract is team friendly. It's a 1+2, 3 for 100, but they're only on the hook for like 37, 38 million. It's really well done by John Schneider. If he hits, great. He's your guy long term. If he's kind of just Geno level, you can kind of just take it year by year, build the roster, see how things go, and you have that flexibility. So I think the Seahawks are in a good spot. They got a lot of young talent in a lot of places. And then Arizona, losing James Conner's tough. You hope that Kyler and Marv can build off that fourth quarter because they connected on a few nice plays, but that connection has been all over the map really since they drafted him. They need him to be a true number 1 receiver, considering they took him in the top 5. All right, NFC West as a whole is very interesting. Seattle 3-1, Arizona 2-2. The Rams are 2-1, and the 49ers are 3-0. All 3 of San Francisco's games have come down to basically the final minute. Arizona's lost their last 2 games on a walk-off field goal. Seattle's been in some tight games. It doesn't feel like there's a great team, but there's definitely not a poor team. I mean, I think all 4 of these teams are in the top 8 or 9 in the NFC. The question is, can any of these 4 make a run, to an NFC championship game? I think the Rams, if Matt Stafford is fully healthy and upright at the end of the season, he's obviously 37 years old. The back is a bit of an issue. I think they've got the best shot. It's hard to say San Francisco with the amount of injuries they have. Obviously, Bosa's out for the year now. They could be a team that makes a splash at the trade deadline. Maybe they take a big swing at somebody. We'll see. Seattle, again, I think they're pretty well-rounded, but I still think there's a cap on their ceiling with Sam Darnold, at least right now. But they're pretty damn good. I mean, I think they don't have a lot of weaknesses. They just don't have a lot of like high-end blue chippers. They have a lot of good players, but not a ton of like superstars. Whereas the Niners do have a few stars, but their depth is questionable and they have a lot of injuries. And then there's Arizona, who this just kind of feels like a pivotal year for Kyler Murray because they don't take that next step and make the playoffs. I think he could be a guy you consider trading because, you look at Russell Wilson, like does Kyler just turn into that in 4 or 5 years where he can't run like he used to and he can't see over the line of scrimmage? So it's kind of just deep balls and short throws outside the numbers because that's what Russ has become. Because he can't see and he can't attack that middle part of the field from 10 to 25 yards. So, if Arizona missed the playoffs this year, it wouldn't shock me at all if they considered trading Kyler while his value is still pretty good because, 3-4 years from now, it may not be good at all. So, big year for them as well. You guys let me know. Best team in the NFC West. Who do you guys think it is? Give me your thoughts down in the comment section right now. My name is Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll see you guys soon here on Verts.